episode.
But I'm done chasing cheap vintage lenses. Because there is always one problem. Either with the focus, or the aperture, or the mount, or the glass, and especially the price. But let's not talk about the market right now. 2 months ago, I was on my way to make one set of fast budget lenses, planning to buy right away the 50mm 0.95, either from Bokeh, TTartisan or TT or whatever. More review I was watching, less I was impressed about the quality of their lenses. I said to myself, are you sure these lenses are looking better than your Super Multi Coated Takumar 50mm 1.4? Because as far as I see it, not so sure. You might say, man, you cannot compare, the quality are not the same, the 50 Takumar 1.4 is one gem. My favorite lens.
At that precise moment, Fred did not know that he would regret having recorded this sequence.
My brothers and my sister, budget solo filmmaker out there. Everybody with me. What's in the box? 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 So it's a box, a lens that hit the market 3 years ago, hailed by many as one of the best fast budget 50mm, a lens that you already know, the TTartisan 50mm f1.2. But this video is not really a review of this lens. It's more a start to answer a not so simple question that's been bothering me for a few months. Listen. Is it really worth it to buy budget lenses, or are we better off putting our money in vintage lenses? Wait. Don't answer now. Just wait a bit. And I am not so sure. So I said, okay, buy the TTartisan f1.2 shutter 400 ISO 200. And compare it to the SMC Takumar 51.4 shutter 320. Because I need to know if I am dreaming, maybe, wishful thinking about my Takumar, or if my impression is right.
To come join the fun. It is big business. Profitable business.
I heard the TT was a good lens, but I did not anticipate such quality from 1.4. I was expecting something similar to my other budget Chinese lenses. Good but not great and flooded with optical defects before f2. When I started to work on this video, I already had the plot in mind, demonstrating that the Takumar will be superior in everything. Particularly the sharpness in the texture, what I usually call micro details. But see for yourself, the TTartisan is just killing it. The quality is impressive for $90. It seriously puts my Takumar to shame. This image quality right there, at this price, this borders on blasphemy. And no, I won't come with the excuse that my Takumar might be defective because I have two 50mm f1.4. And they're under the same softness and fringing wide open. Right there, right now, at f1.4, the TT simply looks better. The colors pop. Everything looks delicious without any color grading. I am shocked. And I do appreciate the nice balance between softness and sharpness that is reminiscent of vintage lenses in mint condition. It does not have the clinical modern sharpness, neither a synthetic bokeh like some budget lenses. At f2, the Takumar is back in business. And here comes the interesting part. Except for the yellow tint of the thorium and the teeny slight higher color contrast of the TT, there is no noticeable difference between these two lenses. It feels like this is one and same lens. The lenses render a similar bokeh, at least right now. Later in the bokeh comparison, you will see that they have two different personalities. From f2.8 up to f8, same observation. This lens almost match each other. This is amazing. But once you reach f11, the sharpness of the micro details like the skin and the leaves behind are less detailed on both lenses. And it seems that the Takumar is returning a little much more than the TT, but unless you are a pixel satanist, you won't notice much. Now to sum up this overall test shot, so far, right now, for the overall picture quality, the TTartisan 50mm f1.2 is better than the Super Multi Coated Takumar f1.4. But hey, we are not done yet, we still have to check the For the bokeh, we will do basic. Gundam on the front, fairy lights in the back, and keep in mind that the SMC TAC has a diaphragm of 8 blades. The TTartisan has 10 blades, which technically suggests that the TT should have rounder shapes in its bokeh. But nope, as you will see. At f1.2, outside the center of the frame, the TT can hardly produce round bubble shapes. They are not oval, more like egg shape. Once you push the focus, these egg shapes get a chromatic aberration, but that's okay. Now let's get into the bizarre. At f1.4, my dear Takumar with his 2 fewer aperture blades are rounder shapes than the TT. I never believed that one day I will say this. But yeah, the SMC Takumar has rounder shapes, and they even look better with the sub-bubble border. Now let's get into the identity of the bokeh of the TTartisan, that is clearly noticeable at f2.8. TTartisan could have gone for the easy way, with a classic circular diaphragm design, but no, they also went full vintage mode with a shuriken diaphragm. And this kind of diaphragm is not for everybody, at least not for me. As it produces distinctive starlight, more you close it down in low light, and I am really not a fan. Too gimmicky for me.
Side note.
Quick side note about the Super Multi Coated Takumar 50mm f1.4 7 elements. If you're having some problems closing down the aperture blade completely, it's probably because your adapter is not pressing enough the aperture pin on the back of the lens. Mostly because something inside the aperture mechanism is loose, or maybe your adapter has a recess a bit too deep. Also big warning, if you feel some resistance when screwing the lens, even if it's not problematic to tight it, double check if the lever of the lens does not scrap the washer inside the adapter, because it will for sure leave some plastic or steel debris or dust on your sensor, and I am talking from a bad experience. I had this issue only with the Takumar 50mm, so be gentle and try different adapters. Also pay close attention to this lever when you are using one focal reducer, it might scratch the glass. I am also talking from a bad experience. I decided to fix the problem once for all by dismantling the aperture mechanism, removing the lever, and elevate the pin with 2mm of cotton swab, just like you probably did on your Helios 44 M4. And also, while I was there, I declicked the aperture. And tada! Now I have a TAC fully cine-modded, but I don't recommend you to do that. The aperture mechanism is easy to dismantle, but a pain in the rectum to put it back. TTartisan minimum focusing distance f1.2, testing the phone light. Let's say that you want one close-up, someone looking for something with his phone.
In Wissen blind.
Normal flashlight 2 meters away. 3 meters. SMC Takumar f1.4 minimum focusing distance. I really don't like. Nothing special. Boring. Still with the Takumar. You know what? Takumar will never win one prize for the flare. And that's a good thing. I mean, if you care about the quality of your picture. Imagine you are doing your movie and you absolutely want your flare because you are coming from YouTube and you say to your talent, here, no, not here, put it here, no, 2 degrees, yeah, okay, don't move, pause. After that, I'm not sure you will find another job in the industry. Okay, I think we're done, huh? There's absolutely nothing special about the flare of the TT and the Takumar. This is a good thing. That means they have one good coating. SMC Takumar f2. I don't expect any of you making some focus racking with a photo lens, but long story short, both lenses have terrible focus briefing, and the briefing of the Takumar is atrocious. But this is normal. This is a photo lens that is mounted on an adapter. Added to this, the TAC has also an image shift problem. An image shift is not like the distortion of the focus briefing. It feels like the image is jumping, as if an element inside the lens has moved. Anyway, let's be fair, most of the vintage lenses suffer of image shift. But it's not a big deal as long as you don't rack the focus. No doubt the TT has a nice build. It gives a premium impression. The aluminum finish feels and looks nice. It feels compact, solid, good weight, good dimension. It's a pleasure to handle. The aperture clicks are satisfying, the focus is smooth, the design inspired from the 60s accentuates its personalities. TTartisan really did a beautiful job. But by sticking to this design without improving it, they missed the big picture that could have made this lens a definitive banger. TTartisan totally discarded the fact that we might want to use this lens for filming. Every time I look at the aperture ring, I am frustrated. Look at this thickness. It's not even 3 mm. How the hell you gonna put a gear on it with these two handles? Okay, I get it, this is useful for photographers, but how you can fix one 3D printed gear on it? And even if you do, the aperture ring is on the movable part of the lens, meaning that it cannot be rigged to a follow focus. While the Takumar, with its 30 years old design, has none of this limitation with its focus and aperture on the fixed part of the body. Considering the quality and the potential of this lens, I cannot comprehend how no one in TT said, hey, let's make it also for filming. All they had to do was to cancel these two handles. It will have been a masterpiece for the budget filmmakers like us, a must-have for APS-C owners.
Wrap up.
Okay, let's wrap up this video. I just came back from the gym. I did not shower yet. I just want to finish this video and move on. Should we buy entry-level lenses rather than vintage one? I know this is one tricky question, and you are smart enough to know that you cannot have one definitive and clear answer. But for now, let's make it simple. Optically speaking, the TT. Mechanically speaking, I said mechanically speaking because I'm pretty sure our stop is metal. This one, plastic. Mechanically speaking, ergonomically speaking, the ASAHI is better. But I won't lie to you. Even if I don't like the aperture ring, even if I don't like the design of the blade, I will mostly use this one from now. Now talking about the price. This one costs something like $90 to $100. This one, you can have it at, $50 for one bad model, but this is usually $80. Up to $180, $200 for one mint condition. But I saw on the Facebook marketplace the lens for $40 and $50. At $50, this is one must-have. Just buy the lens. You won't be disappointed about this one. And I will finish on that. Contrary to the popular belief and vintage propaganda. Oh là là. Aguard. Vintage propaganda. Okay, I'm pretty convinced that there are some Chinese specimen budget lenses that have better image than established vintage lenses. Don't worry, this is the first video of this series. We will go through all that. we will find them. Now the thing is here the comic or the tragedy depending on where you stay. This 50 years old lens with this dead M42 mount is future proof. This one is not. A full frame lens with an M42 mount will always increase in value. A APS-C lens will never cost more than its original price. Whatever your camera, this one will stay. This one no. So at the end of the day, you do whatever you want with you.
You do whatever you want with your money.
That's it. Alright?